What about the unions? Why shouldn't the unions be on the hook when their police officers do something, since they are the biggest ones protecting them? If the unions were on the hook financially and not the citizens, the taxpayers. So we're even paying out money to families that have been aggrieved out of our taxpayer dollars for something that somebody has done. There's something inherently wrong with that.
Yeah, and I'm a union supporter. My grandfather, who, when I turned 8 years old, started taking me out to learn how to paint houses. And I love painting houses, and I will leave the practice of the law in a minute to paint houses. And he left school in third grade to go out and help his family survive, rose to the upper echelons of one of the biggest painters unions in New York. And I idolized him. I'm a big believer in unions, and unions, in my view.
I got one question for you before you tell me about it. How many Black people were in that union?
I can't say I know.
No, I'm saying, somebody that worked at the Daily News, and the first year I was on the job, they had a strike for the pressmen and the drivers. And I struggled. I had a moral come to Jesus moment when I realized that they did not allow Black people in their unions. And I said, so you want my Black ass to be out of work for people who denied anybody that looked like me on their union? Well, you got to support the union. I'm like, not at everything has to be examined through a lens of fairness. Yeah. That's anecdotal. It's great that your grandfather was able to have that opportunity, but my grandfather did not have that opportunity. So there's a problem here for me in terms of a wholesale support of unions. We have to examine all of that, but I apologize. I just can't.
Unions have progressed some since they were, banning folk from joining based on skin color, right? But my view of a union is something that's supposed to help the workers, right? Help install some fairness as between the workers and management. Here's my complaint with police unions. The workers are the ones with the power, the police officers. So it feels incongruous. I don't usually use big words. Delicatessen is usually the biggest word I go with, but it feels incongruous, inconsistent to say we need a police union to protect the workers. The workers are the ones with the guns and the badges who are holding all the power over the citizens. So is that really where we need the union to come in to rescue the workers? The police unions, I think, do as much, if not more, harm than good. Why? Because they will support the police at all costs, even when the police are wrong and engaged in excessive force and violating civil rights and all. Well, then I don't think you're really worthy of the title union, So yes, do the police unions need to be reformed? Is that part of the policing problem? No doubt. How do you fix it? I wish we all had answers to, okay, what is the magic pill? How do you fix it? I think we fix it by doing everything we can do that we do every day, even though it doesn't feel like it's enough.
Make me king and I will fix it in one day. I know exactly what I would do. 866-801-8255. We're talking with Glenn Kirschner. Iran and Israel look like something's going to happen there. Escalating tensions between these two nations that buttress up against one another. They touch. Iraq is right there. Syria is right there. Saudi Arabia is right there. And there's Israel. These two countries are on the verge of war. Experts agree on the possibility of military conflict, but a lot of folk are saying something's going to happen. And within the next 12 days, with both of them having some sort of nuclear capabilities, and with America having no choice, we painted ourselves into a box where we have to support, right? We have to support Israel. So what do you think is going to happen? It's so complicated when you look at, we're allies with Saudi Arabia. Why are we allies with them? I mean, it's so weird. This is not good. And then we decimated Iraq on a lie. Like, we never apologized for that, by the way. We deposed a sitting leader on a lie. And George Bush never had to be accountable. We're talking about holding Trump accountable. It's complicated, Glenn Kirschner. But we should have this conversation.
It's complicated, but it's not. I mean, right is right and wrong is wrong. And if we were determined to hold ruling class criminals accountable for their crimes, it wouldn't be all that. It would still be politically complicated. But, the thing is, we don't really care so much about right or wrong. We care about power and money and privilege. And that's what we care. And that's what drives our decision-making train. Now, let me tell you, guys, I would not for a minute hold myself out as a leader on world politics and what's
All
going
right.
on over there. But I do have a keen interest in what's going on, in particular in Iran, right? Because of the uprising there. Masa Amini being killed for showing too much of her hair. My wife, Nilufar, and her family fled Iran after the revolution in 1979. And I have a healthy appreciation for what's going on over there. And those are people, and I've done videos and appearances about this. We have to support them. Now, that's a whole different...
Yeah, but Netanyahu's, this is weird because Netanyahu's catching, for being what he is as well. He's also very problematic, right? And the people in Israel are protesting. Yeah, they're protesting against him for trying to take over the courts. So we got two nations, two leaders, both problematic, both going, looking at each other, fighting. The people on the ground are like, this is untenable. And then America's going to come in with its complicated ass and say what exactly? Like, really? America has a leg to stand on? Really?
We don't have moral authority anymore.
That's all I'm saying.
Like, moral authority. We used to pretend to. We don't anymore. We can't get our own house in order.
China, and I only bring it up because they go to war. We're involved. China floating balloons, threatening us. Like what? While we're fighting here, all the little things. I don't think we are ready for that kind of conflict and what that even means for us. Have you contemplated it? And
Russia as well is rattling their nuclear saber, right? But here's I'm a little pragmatic when it comes to the Chinas and the Russias and any of the countries with nuclear capabilities. I don't think most of them are willing to give up their power and their privilege and their money and their palaces to engage in nuclear Armageddon. I really don't. I think they will posture and threaten and bluff and bluster and get whatever advantage out of all of that they can. But I also think none of them want to wipe themselves off the face of the map, because most of these world leaders are narcissists. And what they don't want to do is having it all taken away from them. And that's what gives me at least some comfort that they're not going to be pushing nuclear buttons, not because they're kind or compassionate or thoughtful or strategic thinkers. It's because they're so desperately narcissistic that they kind of know that's the end of them. And there's nothing in the world more important to a narcissist than them.
No, than being known throughout time as being the one to usher in Armageddon. I think, go out in a blaze. What do you have to lose? And they got bunkers and oligarchs with a lot of money. They're probably going to be somewhere safe while they watch the world blow up and put their cigar in the fire and smoke it. I don't have as much optimism as you do in these folk. I feel like they will do anything, but we'll see. I just need us to love each other. Before I let you go, Glenn Kirschner, and hopefully you'll come back. You are optimistic that Trump will be indicted. That are okay. What's the over under?
So I'm not a betting person. I'm not a high roller. $1 is my limit. I would bet a buck that Fani Willis in the coming weeks will return the first indictment against a former president of the United States. And I don't think Jack Smith is going to be far behind. Here's the thing. I know prosecutors. And once one prosecutor has the backbone, and I think Fani Willis does more so than anybody else, to step up and do the right thing, even though it's very hard, every other prosecutor is going to have a little bit of jealousy. Like, well, Trump committed crimes in my jurisdiction too, so I better get off the stick because now I look bad. I look like I'm not doing my job. I believe the dam is going to break. I hope the hell I'm not wrong about that, but I believe the dam is going to break.
Okay. HU, Howard University's own Fani Willis, HU, Emory University Law School and all of that, Fulton County, Georgia's district attorney. So will you come back?
Absolutely.
Will you come back when she does this, and let's do a victory lap and a high five virtually, and let's talk about the future, because I feel like that will be the domino that needs to fall for us to even start talking about what comes next.